Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The verbal act of requesting. Express the need or desire for. She requested an extra bed in her room. The verbal act of requesting. A formal message requesting something that is submitted to an authority. Ask a person to do something. I requested that she type the entire manuscript. Inquire for information. I requested information from the secretary. The use of language to perform some act. Request for payment of a debt. Assign a specified, usually proper name to. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Order, request, or command to come. She was called into the director's office. Utter a sudden loud cry. Pay a brief visit. The mayor likes to call on some of the prominent citizens. The option to buy a given stock, or stock index or commodity future, at a given price before a given date. A demand by a broker that a customer deposit enough to bring his margin up to the minimum requirement. A demand especially in the phrase. The call of duty. A telephone connection. She reported several anonymous calls. A loud utterance, often in protest or opposition. Greet, as with a prescribed form, title, or name. She calls him by first name. Demand payment of a loan. Give the calls to the dancers for a square dance. Get or try to get into communication with someone by telephone. I tried to call you all night. The characteristic sound produced by a bird. Make a demand, as for a card or a suit or a show of hands. He called his trump. A brief social visit. Senior professors' wives no longer make afternoon calls on newcomers. A demand for a show of hands in a card game. After 2 raises there was a call. An instruction that interrupts the program being executed. Pascal performs calls by simply giving the name of the routine to be executed. A request. Many calls for Christmas stories. Ascribe a quality to or give a name of a common noun that reflects a quality. He called me a bastard. A special disposition, as if from a divine source, to pursue a particular course. A visit in an official or professional capacity. The pastor's calls on his parishioners. Call a meeting. Invite or command to meet. The 1C conference was called to discuss the final solution. Challenge somebody to make good on a statement, charge with or censure for an offense. He deserves to be called on that. Challenge the sincerity or truthfulness of. Call the speaker on a question of fact. Consider or regard as being. I would not call her beautiful. Declare in the capacity of an umpire or referee. Call a runner out. Indicate a decision in regard to. Call balls and strikes behind the plate. Lure by imitating the characteristic call of an animal. Make a stop in a harbor. The ship will call in Honolulu tomorrow. Order or request or give a command for. The unions called a general strike for Sunday. order, summon, or request for a specific duty or activity, work, role. He was already called 4 times for jury duty. Read aloud to check for omissions or absentees. Require the presentation of for redemption before maturation. Rouse somebody from sleep with a call. I was called at 5 a.m. this morning. Send a message or attempt to reach someone by radio, phone, etc. Make a signal in order to transmit a message. Hawaii is calling. Sports, the decision made by an umpire or referee. He was ejected for protesting the call. Stop or postpone because of adverse conditions, such as bad weather. Call a football game. Utter a characteristic note or cry. Blue Jays called to one another. Utter in a loud voice or announce. He called my name. A request by the manufacturer of a defective product to return the product, as for replacement or repair. Criminal law. A pleading describing some wrong or offense. He was arrested on a charge of larceny. Move quickly and violently. A quantity of explosive to be set off at one time. This cartridge has a powder charge of 50 grains. The quantity of unbalanced electricity in a body, either positive or negative, and construed as an excess or deficiency of electrons. The battery needed a fresh charge. Cause to be agitated, excited, or roused. The speaker charged up the crowd with his inflammatory remarks. Psychoanalysis. The libidinal energy invested in some idea or person or object. Freud thought of cathexis as a psychic analog of an electrical charge. Demand payment. Will I get charged for this service? Direct into a position for use. He charged his weapon at me. Blame for, make a claim of wrongdoing or misbehavior against. He charged the director with indifference. Request for payment of a debt. They submitted their charges at the end of each month. Cause to be admitted. Of persons to an institution. File a formal charge against. The suspect was charged with murdering his wife. To make a rush at or sudden attack upon, as in battle. Give over to another for care or safekeeping. Provide, a device, with something necessary. Attention and management implying responsibility for safety. A special assignment that is given to a person or group. His charge was deliver a message. Heraldry consisting of a design or image depicted on a shield. A formal statement of a command or injunction to do something. The judge's charge to the jury. Attribute responsibility to. The tragedy was charged to her inexperience. An assertion that someone is guilty of a fault or offense. The newspaper published charges that Jones was guilty of drunken driving. The swift release of a store of effective force. Impose a task upon, assign a responsibility to. He charged her with cleaning up all the files over the weekend. Assign a duty, responsibility or obligation to. She was charged with supervising the creation of a concordance. An impetuous rush toward someone or something. The wrestler's charge carried him past his adversary. A person committed to your care. The teacher led her charges across the street. Cause formation of a net electrical charge in or on. Charge a conductor. Energize a battery by passing a current through it in the direction opposite to discharge. I need to charge my car battery. Enter a certain amount as a charge. He charged me $15. Fill or load to capacity. Charge the wagon with hay. Financial liabilities, such as a tax. The charges against the estate. Instruct a jury about the law, its application, and the weighing of evidence. Instruct or command with authority. The teacher charged the children to memorize the poem. Lie down on command, of hunting dogs. Make an accusatory claim. The defense attorney charged that the jurors were biased. Pay with a credit card. Pay with plastic money. Postpone payment by recording a purchase as a debt. Will you pay cash or charge the purchase? Place a heraldic bearing on. Charge all weapons, shields, and banners. Saturate. The room was charged with tension and anxiety. Set or ask for a certain price. How much do you charge for lunch? The price charged for some article or service. The admission charge. Earnest or urgent request. An entreaty to stop the fighting. An expression of some desire or inclination. His crying was an indirect request for attention. A request for information. Given to inquiry. An inquiring mind. A request, spoken or written, to participate or be present or take part in something. An invitation to lunch. A tempting allurement. She was an invitation to trouble. Make or write a comment on. Discover or determine the existence, presence, or fact of. A sign posted in a public place as an advertisement. A request for payment. The act of noticing or paying attention. He escaped the notice of the police. Express recognition of the presence or existence of, or acquaintance with. Notice or perceive. Advance notification, usually written, of the intention to withdraw from an arrangement of contract. We received a notice to vacate the premises. An announcement containing information about an event. You didn't give me enough notice. A short critical review. The play received good notices. Polite or favorable attention. His hard work soon attracted the teacher's notice. A request for payment. The notification stated the grace period and the penalties for defaulting. An accusation of crime made by a grand jury on its own initiative. Informing by words. Usually plural, the status or rank or office of a Christian clergyman in an ecclesiastical hierarchy. Assign a rank or rating to. A commercial document used to request someone to supply something in return for payment and providing specifications and quantities. IBM received an order for 100 computers. A group of person living under a religious rule. The Order of Saint Benedict. Give instructions to or direct somebody to do something with authority. She ordered him to do the shopping. Appoint to a clerical posts. Issue commands or orders for. A degree in a continuum of size or quantity. It was on the order of a mile. A condition of regular or proper arrangement. He put his desk in order. A body of rules followed by an assembly. A legally binding command or decision entered on the court record, as if issued by a court or judge. A friend in New Mexico said that the order caused no trouble out there. Arrange thoughts, ideas, temporal events. The act of putting things in a sequential arrangement. There were mistakes in the ordering of items on the list. A formal association of people with similar interests. Men from the fraternal order will staff the soup kitchen today. Logical or comprehensible arrangement of separate elements. We shall consider these questions in the inverse order of their presentation. Bring into conformity with rules or principles or usage. Impose regulations. Architecture. One of original three styles of Greek architecture distinguished by the type of column and entablature used or a style developed from the original three by the Romans. A request for something to be made, supplied, or served. I gave the waiter my order. Biology, taxonomic group containing one or more families. Bring order to or into. Established customary state, especially of society. Order ruled in the streets. Make a request for something. Order a work stoppage. Often plural, a command given by a superior, e.g., a military or law enforcement officer, that must be obeyed. The British ships dropped anchor and waited for orders from London. Place in a certain order. Order the photos chronologically. Reverent petition to a deity. A formal message requesting something that is submitted to an authority. Reverent petition to a deity. Write a petition for something to somebody. Request formally and in writing. Earnest or urgent request. Someone who prays to God. The act of communicating with a deity, especially as a petition or in adoration or contrition or thanksgiving. The priest sank to his knees in prayer. Reverent petition to a deity. A fixed text used in praying. Marked by or given to doubt. Showing curiosity. Perplexed, as if being expected to know something that you do not know. A request for information. Cause to be returned. Recall the defective auto tires. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Call to mind. Go back to something earlier. Summon to return. The ambassador was recalled to his country. The process of remembering, especially the process of recovering information by mental effort. He has total recall of the episode. A request by the manufacturer of a defective product to return the product, as for replacement or repair. A bugle call that signals troops to return. A call to return. The recall of our ambassador. Cause one's, or someone else's, thoughts or attention to return from a reverie or digression. She was recalled by a loud laugh. Make unavailable. Bar from sale or distribution. The company recalled the product when it was found to be faulty. The act of removing an official by petition. A request by children on Halloween. They pass from door to door asking for goodies and threatening to play tricks on those who refuse. Attractiveness that interests or pleases or stimulates. His smile was part of his appeal to her. Request for a sum of money. An appeal to raise money for starving children. Earnest or urgent request. An appeal for help. Be attractive to. The idea of a vacation appeals to me. Request earnestly, something from somebody, ask for aid or protection. Appeal to somebody for help. Cite as an authority, resort to. I appealed to the law of 1900. Challenge, a decision. She appealed the verdict. Law. A legal proceeding in which the appellant resorts to a higher court for the purpose of obtaining a review of a lower court decision and a reversal of the lower court's judgment or the granting of a new trial. Their appeal was denied in the superior court. Take a court case to a higher court for review. He was found guilty but appealed immediately. Prefer or wish to do something. Feel or express a desire or hope concerning the future or fortune of. Usually plural, a polite expression of desire for someone's welfare. My best wishes. Invoke upon. Wish you a nice evening. An expression of some desire or inclination. I could tell that it was his wish that the guests leave. A specific feeling of desire. He got his wish. Hope for, have a wish. I wish I could go home now. Make or express a wish. I wish that Christmas were over. Order politely. Express a wish for. The particular preference that you have. It was his last wish.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.